Right.
Isn't it amazing? We had, 5 black brothers down here in Florida in a warehouse, didn't even have $5 between all of us. Right. And they already had these boys locked up, incarcerated, saying they had a plan to blow up Washington, D.C., New York, and Atlanta. They had $5. 5 major cities going back to New York. But yet the white boy they found in the house with all this ammo, and they told us, we didn't bring the information, did we? That news told us that, didn't it? Here's another word for television, tell lies vision.
That's right.
You can't believe everything you see on television.
Amen.
They used to say believe half of what you hear and none of what you see. Don't you believe it? But yet this young white man, already you feeling sorry for him. He had all these weapons, but he wasn't going to do nothing. We've been a victim of society and of America too long to believe these people are going to do nothing. And if he'll go do it for his own, what you think he'll do to us?
Amen.
Ask yourself about that. Ask yourself, why is it so hard for us to break the chains of slavery on our minds?
Amen.
To free ourselves. The so-called Negro, he's a slave in his mind. Being a slave in his mind, he refused to acknowledge his condition. He refused to acknowledge that he has an addiction to stupidity.
Amen. Amen.
He think they have a saying, they say ignorance is bliss. That's kind of calm about being ignorant. Because you know what? God can't send me to hell for what I don't know, so I don't want to hear it. That's what I'm not accountable. That's called stupidity.
Amen.
People begin to believe that they're more relaxed, they're more at calm, they're more at ease when they don't know things. And some people don't know how to handle knowledge and information.
It's true.
That's why I have people like the Black Panther Party, they're ready to take up guns, take up arms. See, you can't revert the violence with these people. You got to revert with intelligent behavior.
Amen.
And intelligent behavior, since you don't respect me, since you don't honor me, why would I continue to give you my dollar?
Amen.
Why do I continue to shop in your stores and buy your product that you already got set up to destroy me anyway?
Amen.
Look in the black community what he allows you to have and what he allows you to get. He's not going to let crack cocaine come and be an epidemic in Alpharetta.
Amen.
Not in no $700,000, $800,000 homes. No, he's not.
Right. Amen.
Not in Cobb County. But he'll allow the dean and went quick over in the project. You think he don't know who's selling dope in the project?
That's right. You know what it is.
It's not a problem. These are weapons of mass destruction. These are biological and chemical weapons that's killing us every day. Sister, what you think you're doing when you putting these perms in your hair? Chemical biological weapon. What you think you putting the lipstick on? What do you think you're doing you putting these nails on with this glue? What you think this goes? Don't you know you got cells under your nails? What do you actually think happening when you putting these things, stick them on your finger? You think your body's getting a blessing?
Amen.
These people sitting right there giving a thing already setting us up for death. Here you putting fingernail polish on your nail, you know nothing about it. They're going to tell you about China and what he putting in toys. They killing us every which way around, folks.
Amen. That's true.
From the toys to the products you put in your body.
Amen.
How many times I told sisters about under your scalp you have a brain? You got pores. They intake and they send out things. What do you think happens when you put these chemicals in your hair? Something that can take knot of hair and make it straight like white people. What do you think it's doing to your brain at some point, at some time?
Amen.
Ask yourself some questions. If he can do that to my hair, is it having any effect with my brain?
Amen.
Years ago, they had a big thing, lye soap. They were using it at concholine.
Right.
Some of young men, they don't know about concholine, do they?
Amen. That's right.
They ain't not know you can use all that to straighten your hair.
Amen.
But you know where we came into doing a whole lot of things? Because we felt that the change in the texture of our hair, we would be accepted. They ain't accepted you yet. You think because you go and you and put weave, you have these people look at you and say you're intelligent? When you go and dye your hair to look like them, they can show you only very few of them that try to add and fit in with us. But look at how many try to fit in with these people. And you're still not accepted.
Amen.
You can talk like them, you get degrees from the same university, but you still get discriminated when you come looking for a job.
Amen.
You know who we have failed to fit in with? The people of God.
Amen.
Let's see what Moses told do. I know I told you got to fit in. Give me Hebrews chapter 11, verse 25. Let's see what Moses did. Everybody know Moses. From Islam and all, they don't know Moses, don't they?
That's right.
Now, our book don't even teach us about their people, do it? It told about Ishmael, but it gave us nothing concerning him.
That's right.
Except that Sarah said, cast out the born woman and her son. Right. But the son, the born woman shall not be heir with the son of promise, even Isaac.
Amen.
We know that God blessed Ishmael, but he gave the promise to Isaac.
That's right.
According to Genesis 21, he said, in Isaac shall thy seed be called.
Amen.
Never said Ishmael.
That's right. Amen.
So even their book teach them about Moses. So it's been said now that the Quran teaches them to come back to the book.
Amen.
Isaiah 34:16 says, seek ye out the book of the Lord, and we, no one of these shall fail.
Amen.
Our book don't teach you to go to the Quran, does it? Our book don't teach you to go to the catechism. Why the Catholics still going now?
Amen.
Why is it they have so many problems with obeying their book, they got to go get 5 other books to go with it because they really don't believe it? If they actually believe that was an all-seeing, all-knowing God, then sure they got to know He see what they do and got to know He's going to send them to hell. So they're telling me they don't believe.
Amen.
Listen to the book. Hebrews chapter 11 and verse 25.
24.
24. All right, listen to the book.
By faith.
By faith.
Moses.
This is what Moses did by faith.
When he was come to years.
What did he do?
Refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter.
You know what happened? What do we look at? Apostle Paul said something in 1 Corinthians 13. He said, when I was a child, I spent as a child, I acted as a child. But when I became a man, what did Moses do when he became the years?
Amen.
We will begin to refer this to becoming mature.
That's right.
When Moses, when he came to years, he refused to be called
the son of Pharaoh's daughter.
Now, the so-called Negro become the years in knowledge.
Amen.
Not in chronological age, but in knowledge and wisdom.
Amen.
Why won't you refuse to be called this man house Negro?
Amen.
Amen. That's
why don't you come to grips with who you are and stop falling prey to this society?
Amen.
This is what Moses did. Listen to the book.
Choosing rather to suffer affliction.
That's what I love about him.
Amen.
What did he chose rather to do?
Suffer affliction with the people of God.
I don't want to be with them broke niggas.
Amen.
Them niggas crazy.
Amen.
Yeah, look what Moses did when he came to years.
That's right.
He refused to be called the son of Pharaoh's daughter.
Amen.
He chose rather suffer affliction with the people of God
than to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season.
Condoleezza, Colin, what's the Supreme Court man name? Clarence Thomas. It's just for a season, son.
Amen.
It's just for a season. Whatever you do with these people, Frederick Douglass, a lot of times he didn't get the credit. He never did get the credit he did.
That's true.
Let me tell you something. Dr. King did a great work. Nobody can come and tear down what he did for civil rights. Didn't say spiritual now. Never said that. Clear me up now.
Amen.
What he did for the civil rights struggle. But Frederick Douglass spoke against these people when it was not even popular.
Amen. That's right.
We talking back in the 1850s.
That's right.
Wasn't nothing to hang one of us and nothing to be said about. This man wrote books and blasted them in a big seat one time, sat down and told them about their 4th of July.
That's right.
Cut them down right to their face.
Right here in the land.
He told them about your Thanksgiving.
Amen.
How they came and invaded the people, robbed and raped, and you look for us to celebrate it?
Amen.
Nobody talk about that, did they?
Amen.
Here was a black man that stood up against opposition. He told them to their face right there at dinner.
That's right.
And he ended it so well they couldn't do nothing but respect it.
Amen.
Whole lot of them, you know what? A lot of these white people, they know Pastor. I get a lot of them call me. They know I'm telling the truth. I'm not teaching black supremacy. I'm teaching black intelligence.
Amen.
Let me tell you something. He educated and teach it. What you think he do when he sat around and he'll walk around and he got a Dixie flag on the front of his car? He been 18 years. You think he was here during the Civil War ever?
No.
He been taught his history.
Amen.
He been taught preserve the Southern pride.
Amen.
So when I take the so-called nigga and I just try to tell him and revert him back to the book, what he know, that's not black supremacy. That's black intelligence.
Amen.
No, I'm telling him to go back to his creator. That's got more longevity and substance than his civil rights.
Amen.
Which we hadn't received. Isn't that right?
Amen.
Talked to Brother Jabbar the other day, real smart brother. He was telling me how Brother Malcolm had told him how, how you going to be civil with people that not even civilized?
Amen.
How you going to do it? Some of the things that they do are barbaric.
Amen.
These people ride bulls. Throw them in the air, kick them, stick them, and then get a clown and jump in a barrel. You want to tell me about being civilized?
Amen.
These people ride in a car, and they say, there you go, left turn. Everybody making a left turn, they're going this way.
Amen.
Sniffing gas, watch a car run around a circle for 300 miles. You going to tell me civilized?
Amen.
This man walks out and just shoot birds for no reason. He kill deers and just cut the head off to get the horn. And you going to tell me about being civilized?
Amen.
Let's be practical about it now.
That's true.
We're going to get Michael Vick. I'm saying let's go get these deer hunters that cut hair. Ain't even eating the meat. This is what they call sporting.
Amen.
I see the sport in shooting a bird that don't have a gun and not trying to take me. Don't you see that as a sport? We got to be practical with ourselves, folks. There are some problems in the black community, the Asian community, the Hispanic community, and certainly the white community. And we're not going to make any change. We're never going to be able to be. Let me tell you something, folks. To be honest with you, this book should be the last book read today. Because y'all know why? We ain't read no bad. We don't even want to acknowledge who we are. Don't even acknowledge what's going on with us. What good is this going to do you? If you're going to leave here today and you're going to still continue in your disobedient ways, you'll still do what you want to do when you get ready to do it, you don't need this book. You might well do like Paul told us in the book of Corinthians, the 15th chapter. You might as well eat and drink, for tomorrow you die.
Amen.
This book, let me tell you something. I told you all this before, folks. You do better reading the Ebony, the Jet, and all these other magazines. They're going to give Time Magazine, National Geographic, because you're not going to obey it. This is not going